As many of you know who are frequent watchers of the Ecumenical Television channel, I'm Father Jeffrey Mickler of the Society of St. Paul in Canfield, Ohio. Today I am going to give you a brief tour of our facilities and an explanation of what the priests and brothers do in their media ministry. We will begin our tour with the chapel. On the outside facade of the chapel we can see two angels kneeling in adoration at the foot of the cross. As a person enters the chapel, angels flank the doors, offering those who enter holy water, with which they can bless themselves with the sign of the cross. The angels are messengers of God, and all of the brothers and priests of the Society of St. Paul strive to also deliver the message of salvation to a world that desperately needs it. On the right-hand wall, just inside the doors of the chapel, are three pictures. One of Christ revealing his divine mercy, and two pictures, one of Blessed James Alberione and the other of Blessed Timothy Gicardo. Blessed James Alberione founded the Society of St. Paul in 1914 to work in media, to deliver the good news of Christ to humanity. Blessed Timothy Gicardo was one of his closest collaborators. The chapel reflects the unique spirituality given to the Society of St. Paul by Blessed James Alberione. The mosaic dominates the chapel. On the very top is a bright star representing the eternal light of God shining into a darkened world. Below the star is the patron of the congregation, St. Paul. He was an inspired writer, a zealous apostle. Blessed James Alberione always insisted that St. Paul was to be considered the true founder of the congregation. Immediately below St. Paul are depicted 5 outstanding doctors of the Church and Pope Leo XIII. From left to right we see St. Augustine, St. Thomas Aquinas, St. Alphonsus Liguori, St. Bonaventure, and St. Gregory the Great. Kneeling is Pope Leo XIII, a man who was a great inspiration for Blessed James Alberione. To the left of the altar we see a statue of Christ, teacher. Blessed Alberione gave the congregation a Christ-centered spirituality. He wanted Christ to be our divine master and teacher. In order to know the Christ who is the way, the truth, and the life, Father Alberione insisted that all Paulines be devoted to the Word of God as found in the Scriptures, a copy of which lies open beneath the statue on a table inscribed with the Greek letters Alpha and Omega, the first and last letters of the Greek alphabet, indicating that Christ is indeed the beginning and end of all things. Father Alberione understood that the best place to experience Christ is in the Eucharist. The Eucharist is the center of any Catholic church or chapel. Besides the Mass, Father Alberione urged the members of the Society of St. Paul to spend 1 hour a day in adoration before the Blessed Sacrament. It was in one of his periods of intense meditation before the tabernacle that he heard the words, "Do not be afraid, I am with you. From here I will enlighten, be sorry for sin." These words are found on the walls of every chapel of the Society of St. Paul throughout the world. The Masses that are celebrated in this chapel, through the generous work of the priests, brothers, and lay volunteers, reach the homebound by being televised over the Catholic television network of Youngstown. Hundreds of thousands of people, besides those who actually attend our services, benefit greatly from these televised celebrations. The next stop on our tour is our shrine. Every year, thousands of people stop by our St. Anthony's Wayside Shrine to offer their prayers and petitions and to give thanks for favors granted. They light a candle, they sign the guest book, and in the guest book you can see the story of the human soul. At our shrine, we also have a memorial to the unborn. While here, please pray for an end to abortion and for an embracing of human life in all of its forms. Toward the west end of our property is a red brick building that contains our bookstore and gift shop. It's a place that you must visit in order to truly appreciate. But let's go inside now and see some of the offerings we have waiting for you. Our stores are filled with objects, meant to delight the eye and fill our imaginations in order to transform our hearts. We are convinced that homes that are filled with the images of God will be godly homes. Those who take to heart the images that we provide will have their own hearts transformed more and more throughout life and find that they can become ever closer to God, His angels, and His saints. We provide books and Bibles as well to inform the mind and the intellect, and to share our faith with others. We have many cards to choose from. When it comes to choosing a Bible, there is a lot of confusion by many people because there are so many translations and so many editions of the same translation. The New American Bible, for those in the United States, is the classic Catholic translation. It's the one that's used in the liturgy both weekdays and on Sundays in the Catholic Church. So if you want to coordinate your biblical reading with your church attendance, this is the translation to pick. There are also translations that cater to those who simply like to have easy reading, like the Living Bible, which is available in both Protestant and Catholic translations. One of my favorites is the Albans New Testament. Obviously, why? We published it. But it is a translation that is very vigorous, very strong. It's very close to the cadence of the original Greek, so that when it's read out loud especially, there's the feeling that you're transported back into that first century when the revelation of Christ was being heard for the first time. This New Testament is also beautifully illustrated, easy to read, magnificently printed. Every Catholic home needs a good translation of the Bible, but also every Catholic home, I believe, needs a copy of the Catechism of the Catholic Church. Here we find what the Church really teaches on a wide variety of subjects. It answers questions that are important to us because the knowledge of our faith means that we have knowledge of Christ. And knowledge of Christ leads to knowing how Christ would want us to lead our lives. We have many other books here as well, other types of catechism, question and answer books, books on marriage, books on the sacraments, books that could help us learn how to live our lives better and how to share our faith better with others. I hope that you'll stop and browse through our books and pick those that can help you the best love God and neighbor more. Besides filling your home with images of God, we would like to fill your home with godly sounds. We have a fine collection of music CDs which you can choose from, take home, and enjoy for years to come. My favorite is the Albans production, Ave Maria, the Universal and Timeless Hymn, by Dr. Marcia Heather Long, an extraordinary New York artist. She has a doctorate and 2 masters from Juilliard. On this CD, she sings in 14 languages praising Mary and plays 16 instruments. She takes the listener on a musical journey from the 1st century right up to the 21st century. The music that you've been hearing on this introduction tour to the Society of St. Paul are small selections from this CD. Let's listen to a few bars of her music and to get a little taste of where her voice, consecrated to God, could take us